other series get away with what they do? Like, and this isn't me like this isn't me like speaking negatively, because spoilers, this was a good chapter again. But can any other series actually get away with what they do, where they're just like, I want to make this better. I've had a better idea, so I'm just gonna forget that and we're gonna just do this all instead, and just get away with it? Because I don't know, because could you imagine a series like One Piece where like they're in the middle of an arc and then Oda goes, yeah, I actually don't like this fight, I think I can make it better, so I'm going to do this. Because I don't think the fans would be that happy. And I suppose obviously there's a lot of different variables, so obviously like with Weekly Shonen series it's a different kind of format, and obviously, especially in a longer running series like that where it's on like chapter 900 and something, it's very different. It's a different world altogether, but very few series I think could pull that off. Maybe JoJo. Berserk wouldn't have a chance. But yeah, it's just crazy. So let's talk. So One Punch Man, chapter 99, Heat Up. This was the real 99 now apparently, because he's changed his mind, and honestly, I don't have a problem. Like, it's typical, like, after I do my review for the last one though, that he's just like, here's a new one, and it's all completely different. But it actually, you know, 99.1 and .2 were good, just this one's really good. They just nail it. It's so good. This chapter was great. It basically gave me what I wanted from this fight, and I'd be like, okay, because I was patient because it was only 20 pages, and I was like, okay, we got it in segments, so there's still time for things to happen. But then he just was like, nah, look at this, look at this, look at this. It was like what I liked about chapter 98. It was just cool, 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 and it was just all these cool ideas, and they were so good. So chapter starts off with some excellent cover art of Saitama and Garo, and it's like, it talks about only those who like know true strength also know true despair and loneliness, and I really like that. I just really like cover arts with Saitama and Garo because obviously building up to this big fight between the two of them, and of course, like, I suppose there are going to be these similarities that are there between them, and I just like, honestly, I'm missing them a bit as well. It's been a while since we've seen Saitama and Garo now. It's been a couple months, so. And I'm liking where the story is and everything, but I think I am missing these characters who we focused on for quite some time now. And then maybe looking at that a bit too in-depth, but I do like, obviously, like, I think, obviously you got Garo who's in front, and he's like, I suppose, true despair, I suppose it's him, like, accepting, like, he's growing strong, and he's breaking his limiter, and he's at some point gonna have to deal with this despair of, like, knowing how strong this power is. But Saitama, he's used to this. He's got his umbrella out. But, like, I suppose it's also, like, Garo's drenched in the rain. He isn't trying to protect himself. He's just like, oh, I expect this of me, and, like, I don't deserve it. So Saitama's like, I don't want to be lonely or upset. I want to be happy, and that's why he's got the umbrella out. And I think that's me looking way too much into it, but I do like looking into those things, because I'm like, maybe there's like some, not like small hints like that, but kind of like their attitudes to, like, all-encompassing power. Garo is like trying to accept it, and while Saitama accepts it, he hasn't given up on any of his other goals despite this. In any case, fight starts, finally, after like 3 minutes of recording. Cool job, man. Boy, one thing ever since we've seen Brave Giant is, okay, this is good, I want to see some cool robot stuff though. And we didn't get that in the last chapters, that were 99, which I was fine with, because I was like, okay, we've got time, I'm sure we'll get to see some cool robot stuff eventually. This time, we go straight into the cool robot stuff, and it's so great, because it's cool robot stuff, but it's also Child Emperor stuff, and it doesn't forget, like, he's a child. So first of all, Brave Giant's design's a bit different, and I like the old design a lot, but this one, I think is just a bit cooler because it is still Child Emperor eyes. So, like, for example, he's got like a backpack on his back, and he's got like his little PE kit there, and he's even got like a little what are they called? Like, basically just like a little thing, just like a little toy hanging off his bag, which is a little brave, and I really like that touch to it, and like obviously it's more Brave Giant eyes. So when he starts and it starts to show him like use his item, so he's got the divider shield, which I imagine he's actually called after division because those weapons are based on maths as well, because it's just this cool design, but like it's got like Roman numerals on it, and I don't know if that symbol is actually anything to do with maths because I never learnt Roman numerals at school, so I don't know if that's anything like, or history even, but then even like his sword he's got, and I was like, one thing I keep going on is I just need to see the giant sword straight away in this one, giant sword. I'm like, this is already really good because it's in the shape of like I tried to find, it's literally called like a maths triangle, and like you can use, like I've seen it, and it's in that design and it looks really good, and he goes straight barreling for it, and I don't know whether I'm enjoying it more just because it's different, but like I think just because obviously the art has taken a step up. How does Murata do this? Because like the art like was so good, and he's been like, I've been so busy, so like once every 2 weeks 10 pages, and now he's like now 2 weeks after 35 pages. Boom, and it's all really good art. Like, I feel like redundant saying it's like, oh, the sky is blue, you know, don't drink poison, Murata's art's good. It's just obvious stuff like that. But I just like saying it because it's true, because I have to talk about, and then just this whole fight was really entertaining, and there's some small details there that I really liked, and I was going to say so many small details, but some really small details I loved in this fight. So obviously, like, he kind of just took what worked from, like, what he did with 99 before, and he just kind of improved it. So, like, the Phoenix Flares were super cool, because we got to see a super creative way of using the heat, because we haven't really seen more strategic ways of doing it, and he hasn't really forgotten the strategic side of the fight, which I'm so happy with in this new style, because he just amped it up and made it better. So, obviously, the Phoenix Flares are super cool, and like I got off track, but like I think it looks better, but that might be because it looks different. So when he shoots off the missiles, like, oh, that's a lot of missiles, this looks amazing, because he's also charging straight at him as well, with like, he's got like jets, like boom, and it's so good. And like, even just like the charge, so like he calls it like the Delta Shield or something, I don't know, I'm not sure why, maybe it is because it's a form of shield, but he can also use it as a sword, because he's like, I don't know, he changes the scale of it, which I think is the purpose of that tool in mathematics. Someone knows, let me know, me dum-dum, just I'm an idiot, so I don't know this kind of stuff. So it just slices straight through the pillars, and like, it barely dodges Phoenix Man, and Phoenix Man's attitude is a bit different as well, like he's not like, he's still like, I'm a monster and I'm better than you, but he's still like, okay, that speed's not bad for like the size, because it's true, Brave Giant size, it does not indicate its speed, which I think we could talk about for Orochi one day. Not important in any case. But Phoenix Man's personality is a bit different as well, because he used to be an actor, as we know, when he was on that show Bird Brain, and he's like, you can't really be a true actor if you're not like this, check out this suit, boom! And then he changes, and like, Phoenix Man was cool before, with his cool fire powers, but now they're really honing on the bird side of him, because he's got a new form, and it's like, what was it, it's like, that's it, the Falcon mode, Prominence Falcon mode, and it looks great, but one of my favourite touches is probably because it's literally like the only animal fact I know, because straight away he starts zipping around and speeding up, and Charlie Emperor struggling to keep, it's like, he's getting even faster and faster, because it looks like it's designed on a peregrine falcon. Peregrine falcon is the actual fastest animal in the world, because its diving speed is 210 miles an hour. So the moment that happened, I was like, I get it! It's a good reference, I understand it. It was so great, like even those small details of it, just being like, oh well, we'll model it after this, and then like that can be the speed up mode, and that was great. I like, you know, obviously, like, and then he, like, heats up his claws as well, and it starts tearing through Brave Giant. That's how strong he is. Phoenix Man's a monster. He's a monster, but he's pretty up there in terms of monsters. He's pretty damn good. So that's when Child Emperor retaliates with the little Braves, and he sends them out to try and counter it. And something he actually improved on as well, I think, in comparison to the last 99, is last time he was like, my eyes can keep up easily with all of this, and he said that, you know, but rather than just say it, he showed it. He was like, so obviously in this new sped up, like this new speed form he's using, he's like, oh, so you're trying to outmaneuver me, but it doesn't matter, you're all too slow. And we just see the eye on his chest start to move around and follow them. I thought that was a great way of showing, you know, his eyes contract, this kind of stuff. Instead of just going like, you know, oh, my eyes contract this easily, he just showed it instead. And that's something that's so great, is not always just going like, here's how my power works, or here's how this works. It's just showing it instead. Like, you can piece that together in your head. I think even without Chapter 99, you're like, okay, so he can keep track of these kind of movements. So he goes for the all-out attack with all the little Braves, and then we get the new form, Hawk mode, which can like absorb attacks or something, and it looks insane. What was Murata thinking with this? He was like, let's just there's a cool design here, there's a cool design there, like it's all on fire, and he absorbs all the attacks, and you can't really see Phoenix Man's face at this point. It's just like two eyes, and there's like boom, and he's like, oh, that feels better, and then he blasts it back. As Child Emperor put, he's too broken. He's real strong. He's very, very strong. What is going on? I love Phoenix Man. He's so good. I said it before. I'll be hipster about it. I loved Phoenix Man before he was cool. You know, I did. I liked him when he was just a little demon rank man. Now I love. He's just a really cool dragon. He's up there for me in dragons, definitely. So Child Emperor just goes in for it, all or nothing with the short sword, which I also love because it seems based on like a box knife or like something just like a box cutter even. That's what I'm thinking of. And it's just like the short sword he uses, and like the thing is, even in this fight, there's such a great bit of build-up as well, because they just go like, oh, the Brave Giant is still incomplete, and if it lasts over 3 minutes, it will self-destruct. The idea that Child Emperor has a weapon, right, that is so strong at this point, it's keeping up with Dragon-class opponents, and is still not finished, says a lot about not only Brave Giant's potential, but Child Emperor's potential. He's got so much going on, he's like, I'm not even done with this yet. And it's keeping up with dragons. He's not thinking that, I'm thinking that, but it's amazing. And then even, just from that, like, I think that's a very obvious point of, like, you know, it self-destructs, which is, like, a big moment of, like, okay, this is why he has to finish it in 3 minutes, not because it'll power down, because if he doesn't finish it in 3 minutes, it will kill him. And that's just, like, a great setup thing. And obviously, at this moment, Phoenix Man, like, he catches the blade, and, like, he figures out very quickly, like, he's really trying to finish me fast. I bet this power's got a time limit, and that's where he does the strategy thing from last time in 99, and he's like, well, I'll get my distance, and while attacking him, I'll also mix in some attacks for what he's protecting. And so it's also great to see how Child Emperor can actually dual wield in Brave Giant as well, because to me, I don't think we'll see Brave Giant honestly for a while after this, because obviously with the foreboding of the self-destruction, but you know, like I'll get into that when we get to near the end of when I talk about the end of the chapter. And obviously, like, he sends down this rain of bullets, and he's blocking it with the divider shields, and it's just this great moment, obviously, like, when... it's just, like, I just like all these little robot touches, so it was like, here's his head! Like, as he puts Wagama to one side, who's, like, obviously moaning and complaining like Wagama does, and then, like, the head pops open, and a little Gatling gun just goes boom, 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 and, like, Phoenix Man starts dodging everywhere, and it's great, because it's also, once again, the strategy side of it, and he's like, I'll go down that hole, and when he's there, when he comes after me, I'll just blast him, and then it's actually just, like, Child Emperor going, like, no, I wanted you to go down there, and I just like that kind of stuff, like, yes, this is the strats I want to see, and I don't need that to do the strats to make sense, like, I don't need to see, like, oh, well, if I do this and this, and he goes, like, that's it, and then, like, before we actually see it, because then, also, my only kind of gripe about the last chapters now that I think about it, and they do a better job, is obviously, Phoenix Man, in his demon form, couldn't break through one of the panels that one of the shields Child Emperor could make. Phoenix Man in his dragon form easily broke through 5, and then after that, Phoenix Man, like, got stopped by one of them in 99.2 before the giant fist was about to hit him. But this time they make it clear that, you know, the one that he's using here is special. It makes sense because it's Brave Giant. It's just strong. It's 100 times stronger than a normal one. So even Phoenix Man is struggling with it at this point. And then you just see, like, I was like, okay, look, the giant knuckle sandwich was cool last time, but the fact they had, like, an energy barrier around it, whereas he goes, like, pummel giant knuckle sandwich, boom, and then that great panel where Phoenix Man, like, no, boom, and he catches it, and, like, the massive clash, it's so good, and one of the best, and, like, as great as that clash is, one of the best bits of details is just giving us a bit of lore and background to the Monster Association by just saying, oh, by the way, this was the Subterranean King and his kingdom's base, and the Monster Association took it over. Because I've talked about a couple of people on the podcast that we do. The main thing being that Child Emperor, like, that someone said to Murata on a stream, like, what if this was this? And like, what if this was a subterranean base and the Monster Association took it over because it was a Nephzed city? And I think Murata was like, oh, that's a good idea, maybe I'll use it. He's used it, and it's such a great little bit of detail, just like, oh, this is what happened. You piece it together even before, like, that bit later on where Child Emperor's like, what is all this? And he sees all this has happened. It's good. It's real good. I really liked it. I like this whole chapter, like, you know, obviously because the time limit's running out, and I feel the pressure, because I'm like, how is he gonna beat Phoenix Man? And this is what's so great about this chapter, is because the real, like, even just the time limit thing is like, okay, this is bad, but the fact he's got all these different forms, all these different powers now, means he's really strong, and now I'm actually like, Child Emperor, how are you going to beat him? Because at first I was like, okay, like, I'm not saying, I don't think Child Emperor will die, and I think Phoenix Man will die at some point, but I just don't know how Child Emperor is exactly going to do it, and I've got so many questions about it, because we're starting to see what Brave Giant can do, and it's real good. And that moment, that wonderful moment, where he's like, release the Leviathan's full power! And then Phoenix Man's like, what? And then the next page, they're just flying. he's getting flung straight through the floor. Phoenix Man screaming in pain as Charlotte Emperor just blasts him through the floors of the Monster Association. It was so great. It was like, I love these kind of panels where like you don't necessarily see like what actually happened, and you piece together like just these moments like, wait, what happened? Oh, so it was like that when Atomic Samurai fought against Rhino Wrestler, and it was like it then this time where like you just for a second you're like, wait, what happened? Oh, it's so good. I love how that's done. It's getting dark. I should probably try and wrap this up soonish. But then obviously, like, as they go through, he's like, oh, there's someone there. And you're like, okay, who's he going to team up with? This could be anyone. This could be really good. Because that's his strategy. He's like, listen, I don't think I could beat him on his own at my own at this point. Because it's going to get dangerous. I have to, like, whoever's there, they can help me. And he breaks through. And that's when we get to that's actually really sad, the moment he gets through and he's like, Flashy Flash, help me! Because he thinks Flashy Flash is down there, but he's lost his communicator. And, oh boy. One of my favourite things about this chapter is the last time we saw Flashy Flash, he was on like an epic walk away from a very powerful, like from a super fast fight, and he was just like, yeah. The next time we've seen Flashy Flash, he's just there in a corridor with his sword. Went that way, that's the way we go. And then, like, just such a change of pace for him. Ha, that's a speed joke. I didn't mean it.
Funny.
Oh god, it's getting dark. I have to hurry. Just like Child Emperor's chances of winning this fight. Did I choose this on purpose? Yes. Yeah, sure, of course you did. And what's really terrifying about this is Child Emperor didn't even he didn't finish off Phoenix Man. He goes flying down, but Phoenix Man is already starting to regenerate, and you know, he's starting to grow to the next level. Dangerous situations, negative emotions, boom, he's getting a massive growth in strength. Because he gets down there, and obviously it's like the subterranean thing, and he's lost. And the last panel we see is Phoenix Man. Like, I have to assume that's it's Phoenix Man, who is like entered his new form. We don't see it, but it ends there. And it's such a great way to end the chapter because the tension is high. Like, I don't know how. Like, I've got so many ideas. So first of all, one thing we've talked about before on the podcast, I should probably say, Grim Reaper has a podcast about One Punch Man. If you haven't seen it, maybe go watch it if you like me. And if you don't, I'm not in it that often, so it's okay. If you don't, then it's a miracle you made it this far in the video. I would have to say, like, Drive Knight has potential to show up, but there's also the theory of Drive Knight being G5, and who knows what's going to happen. We don't even know what G5's going to do. We don't even know what G5's done in this whole time. So if Drive Knight is G5, and then maybe G5 will fight Phoenix Man, or maybe Drive Knight will show up and fight Phoenix Man. However, because he's getting so strong and pretty arrogant with his power, there are other ideas. So this could be a great way to show off how strong an executive is by having an executive come in and defeat Phoenix Man. Like, I'm not saying necessarily easily, but kind of like, you know how Bakuzan in the Super Fight tournament was like, I could take you on, Goketsu, no problem. And then Goketsu just went boom with one punch and destroyed like the stadium, like half the stadium, everything behind him. At that point, Bakuzan was like, I can't win against this guy. And he just accepted it and moved on. Because Phoenix Man is growing ridiculously strong at this rate, and it's getting really dangerous. Like, the other options, of course, I still like to think Child Emperor is going to win somehow, but he's just going to be in a dangerous situation after this. Or maybe that's when I feel like an executive is going to show up in chapter 100. That's my main thing. However, the only other idea I had was this. Things are getting pretty bad for Child Emperor. He needs someone to show up. The guy who always shows up when it's at its worst is Saitama. And we know he's somewhere underground, lost. And I'm not saying he should keep repeatedly do this, but if he's the one who shows up and bodies Phoenix Man, because let's face it, as strong as... Because, I'm starting to miss Saitama. I am. Like, it's just a personal preference. I love Saitama, he's my favourite character. And I accept why he has to go away for so long, of course, because otherwise... we don't want this arc to be over that quickly. We want some great fights, we want some great character moments and things like that. But I like to believe that's kind of like a last resort. I like to think I like to think Child Emperor's going to shoot, like really he's going to have to sacrifice the brave giant for by self-destructing it, and like maybe capture surrounding Phoenix Man, because the only way I can see someone truly beating Phoenix Man is if it's like a perfect Cell thing. Only by destroying every part of his body can they beat him. But yeah. There we go, that's my review of 99. I thought that this was really, really good. But what did you think? I'd love to know your opinions on what happened, what's going to happen, like your favourite bits of the chapter, everything along those lines. You know what I'm asking. Yes, please let me know in the comments. If you like this review, then give it a like and possibly subscribe, because this is actually not too bad for me. Only being a few days behind the release is not that bad of a review release for me. Cool. Yeah, but thank you for watching. I'm sorry about the lighting. I will try and fix this. This is a new bedroom for me. Not that you care. Any case, goodbye.